Yeah, I just say two of these and they're ridiculous. If you don't make these homemade bagels, oh my gosh, you are totally missing out. This is how you take your breakfast to the next level, my friends, or even that turkey sandwich you may want to make. I have such great memories growing up in St. Louis, and when I was working in the restaurant industry just as a teenager, I remember waking up on Saturday mornings and my dad would have went to this place called Bagels and Java right down the street. And he'd get like a dozen bagels, three or four different cream cheeses. Oh my gosh, they were so good. When I'm gonna relive that memory and make some homemade bagels, it's been a minute. In fact, it's been about 20 years. When I was in culinary school, that's the last time I made these. So it's time to hone those skills. We're gonna knock out a little prep. Sound good? Let's bake. In the bowl of a stand mixer, I'm going to add in some warm water in between 115 and 118 degrees Fahrenheit. This is good because the bowl is cold and it'll help drop that temperature to that perfect optimal temp. Next, I'm going to add in some barley malt syrup. This is incredibly classic in a bagel recipe. If you don't have this, no problem. Just substitute out with some light brown sugar. Now I'm going to sprinkle on my active yeast. I don't know why I like to sprinkle it on all over the top. It kind of floats there. I don't know, I'm weird. That's just what I like. And then go ahead and grab a whisk. What you want to do is completely mix all of these ingredients together because you want that yeast to feed all over the brown sugar. Let me stop and say this. I get this question so much. Yes, absolutely, you can use instant yeast. You just don't have to wait for the raft to form. You can actually throw all your ingredients in together and get it going. But in case you use active, like I did, here's what you do next. So after 5 to 7 minutes, maybe, you're going to see this beautiful yeast raft float at the top. That's why it's called a raft, because it develops and it literally sits on top of the water. Once it's at this stage, go ahead and grab your hook attachment and fix it to the stand mixer, drop it down, lock it, and then on low speed, what we're going to do now is mix in our bread flour. You definitely need a high gluten, high protein flour to make bagels. Once that's in there, what I'm next going to do is add in sea salt. I just always use sea salt. It tastes better. Use a little bit less of it. It's better for you. Then we're going to knead it only on low speed. This is probably going to take about 5 to 7 minutes. This is a much firmer dough than maybe you're used to, so go ahead and take the time to do this. After that 5 minutes or so, go ahead and take the hook attachment off, get all of that dough off of there because it's time to go to the next stage. Now you can absolutely continue to knead it in the stand mixer. I was kind of taught to move it at this point out onto the surface. And just so you know, this is a much firmer dough. The hydration percentage is like 56%, so it's gonna be a little firm, maybe look a little dry. Don't freak out, you're in good shape. Now, go ahead and dust up a clean surface with some more of the bread flour and then grab that dough, bring it right over there. We're going to put it right on top of the flour and then it's kneading time, my friends. This isn't quite as important as it is in pasta, but it is still important. And by that, I mean you don't have to knead for 20 minutes. It's only going to take another 5 to 7 minutes to do it. I'm going to form it into a nice little taut, tight ball. And then you know me, I like those Cambro plastic containers with the measurements on the side. And pop a lid on it, and then you know my trick if you've been following me for a minute when it comes to proofing bread. Go over to an unused oven, a nice cool oven. We're going to crack it. If for some reason your oven light doesn't turn on there, go ahead and flip the switch so that it's on. Okay, one more quick thing again. Whenever I do this method of proofing in the oven with the light on, let me clarify because I always get some comments. No, the oven is not on. It hasn't been on all day long. All I'm doing is hitting the light. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have an upper light. It's just that I have two ovens, one on top, one on bottom. So when I'm hitting upper light, that's just a light for the upper oven. That's all that means. Now time to proof. So after 60 or 90 minutes or until the dough has doubled in size, just like you see here, it's absolutely beautiful. Grab your Mike Tyson punch-out gloves and go ahead and start smoking this dough all the way down. You want to remove all of the air out of it. It's going to help make our bread nice and dense. Once it is punched down, grab a nice golf ball size or maybe just a hair bigger. We want to make tight, taut little balls. What I like to do is stick the fingers underneath and push through while I'm sort of clenching at the bottom, and then I squeeze it off so you have a nice, smooth top surface. This is really important when it comes to making bagels so that the surface of your bagels are nice and smooth. Now what I'm going to do is stick my thumb in some of that flour and then press right down in the center of one of our dough balls and then stretch it out to make a nice thick ring, just like you see here. You may need to get all your hands involved here.
This looks absolutely excellent. Set it to the side on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper and repeat the process. And then just simply cover it with a nice big towel or plastic wrap, because in the meantime, we're going to grab a nice large pot. We are going to completely fill it up with cold water. And I'm going to add in some more of that barley malt syrup. If you don't have it at this stage, you can use a little light molasses or even some honey. Go ahead and crank that heat to high because we need to bring it to a boil.
This is going to be really similar to my pretzel recipe. It's going to move super quick because once you dunk it in the water, you put it on the sheet tray, you repeat, you bake. It's going to move fast, okay? So hold on. Here we go.
Once it's boiling, after about 15 minutes or so, which is a great amount of time for that dough to rest, let's go ahead and take off our towel. Looks absolutely beautiful, nice and smooth. Head right over to the cooktop, and then what we need to do is remove it to the parchment paper. If it gets stuck a little bit, what you would want to do maybe moving forward is just put a little oil underneath the next time you make the bagels, no problem. And go ahead and drop them right into that barley malt water solution. We're going to cook them for in between 60 and 90 seconds per side. The longer you cook them, the chewier they will be in the inside, which some people like. So if you want to go a little longer, go ahead and do it. Once they are done, we're going to take them out with a slotted spoon, set them back on the sheet tray lined with parchment paper. But here, if you want to add some toppings, I've got some everything bagel blend. Take it right out of the water and mix it all around on the top. It might be a little hot, but I promise it's not too bad. Maybe you can also do some poppy seeds. Once everything is coated, or maybe you don't want any of them coated with any toppings, we're going to the oven on 425 degrees. It's going to take in between 20 and 25 minutes for these to cook. After that, go ahead and take them out. They look excellent. Completely cool them to room temperature, or you can start eating now if you'd like.
To all my comies out there, and as a little refresher, a lot of people say, what is a comie? You must have missed my videos from way back in the day. A comie chef is a chef in training. They follow around the executive chef. They learn each station in the kitchen, all the intricacies of cooking and that specific station. So at the end of their training, they'll become a chef. Y'all are my comies, and I mix comie with homies. I'm a 90s kid. We used to call each other homies, and now I've got comies. And with that being said, you continue to put into practice these fundamental cooking techniques and baking techniques in this case, your food is going to be so much better. I mean, we just made homemade bagels, and they're incredible. You will love them. Again, homemade food from scratch always tastes better. It's going to be better than any local bagel shop. It's going to be better than any grocery store. I'm telling you. Practice these things, enjoy it, you will love it. Now let's quickly play it up in slow-mo.
Well, the first thing, of course, that I'm going to do is slice it so you can see the inside. So put your hand on the top, use a serrated knife to cut all the way through, and then boom, you've got a nice, beautiful bagel. What I like to do is serve this up with assorted cream cheeses, some gravlax, and of course some sliced cucumbers and coffee. It's all about breakfast, my friends. And my oh my, check out these beauties.
Homemade bagels. I mean, what else is there to say? Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and please check out this video. I made it just for you, I promise you. And I'll see you on there.